Sir, what according to you is mental harassment? Hi everyone, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Jai Mata Di. Good afternoon, sir. Today on my YouTube channel Merchant Navy Decoded, I've got a very special guest. Sir का नाम है Captain Suneel Sule and he's a principal of Maritime Training Institute, that is Anglo Eastern Maritime Academy. Sir, first of all बहुत धन्यवाद सर मेरे को ज्वाइन करने के लिए. सर, बिफोर मैं आपसे क्वेश्चंस की सीरीज शुरू करूं, आई हैव टू इंट्रोड्यूस योरसेल्फ विद द वे वी हैव मेट टुगेदर और जो मैंने आपसे जाना है व्हाई दिस इंटरव्यू इज इंपॉर्टेंट.
ओके.
तो सर, मैं पहले ऑडियंस को बताना चाहूँगा कि जब मैं लास्ट टाइम एंग्लो ईस्टर्न में आया था और शायद पता नहीं आपको, उस टाइम मैंने यही सूट पहना हुआ था, अभी मैंने यही सूट पहना है. मैंने अभी रिकॉल किया पुरानी फोटोग्राफ देख के, तो आई गेस दिस इज़ माई लकी सूट. तो सर, व्हेन आई केम ओवर हेयर दैट वाज द फर्स्ट टाइम आई मेट यू एंड मैं आपको जानता नहीं था. आपने बहुत अच्छे से मेरे से बातचीत करी एंड देन लक मेरे कैसा साथ दी कि यू आर गोइंग बैक होम दैट डे एंड आई हैड 2 hours की जर्नी थी जो कि मैंने आपके साथ स्पेंड करी एंड आई वाज हैविंग दिस डायरी एंड आई वाज मेकिंग दोस नोट्स.
I remember that.
Yes sir. And during that visit sir, I got to learn a lot about कि आप सिर्फ एक प्रिंसिपल नहीं है who has been a captain, but you are a well read man जो कि साइकोलॉजी को समझने की कोशिश करते हैं और समझते हैं कि क्या चल रहा है क्या नहीं चल रहा. You recommended me a very good book called When I Say No I Feel Guilty. Yes. I studied and recommended to a few of my students as well. So that उसने सर मेरा और सॉलिडिफाई करा इस चीज़ को कि सर से मिलके ये चीज़ एक अलग वे में लेकर आनी है और लोगों को समझानी है कि चल क्या रहा है एंड हाउ टू गो अबाउट इट.
ओके.
तो सर, बिफोर स्टार्टिंग, बिकॉज इन दिस वीडियो वी आर गोइंग टू कवर अ वेरी टची टॉपिक दैट इज मेंटल हैरेसमेंट. इसमें एक सीनियर का क्या रोल रहता है, एक बच्चे का क्या रोल रहता है. आई एम एन ओल्ड स्कूल स्टूडेंट, सर is senior to me, but sir is the new school student कि अभी क्या चल रहा है बच्चे, because he reads a lot of books. Unfortunately, I do not do on these topics. Okay. So this is where the thing lies and let's just start. So sir, even before going on this topic, first let us talk about आपकी जर्नी के बारे में कि कैसे स्टार्ट हुई, a brief introduction of family background.
Okay. I am from a family of teachers.
Okay.
Both my parents, their siblings, both sides mostly are either teachers or related to the educational field. My father was an educationist who worked for the government on making policies for examinations and education, etc. So the atmosphere at home was completely directed towards academic excellence. My 2 elder brothers were in the merit list of the state board, etc. I was a rebel of the family. Although I did well in studies, I chose this profession, which was a shock to many who knew us and our family. They were wondering, what is this fellow doing? Because the reputation of seafarers those days in the public mind was rowdy, abusive, alcoholic kind of person, etc., etc. And they were shocked that somebody from this family is joining that career. But my father was completely convinced. I still remember the line he used. He said, Sa vidya ya vimuktaye. Knowledge is what sets you free. If this is a career which will give you the freedom to do what you feel like, economic freedom or career choices, go ahead, join it. And after 45 years in this career, I have not had one regret for one day.
Wow.
I am very happy about my career choice and my parents' support for that.
So sir, अगर मैं my next question would have been कि why did you, when you quit Merchant Navy, you could have had a lot of other options going for on shore job. So my question would have been, why did you choose shore job as a maritime faculty? Now I get, because it runs in the genes, it runs in the family to be a teacher.
Okay, I'll tell you how it goes. I have not quit Merchant Navy. I am very much a part of it.
Yes.
I'll put it a little poetically, a little dramatically, that I was born with teacher's genes in me.
Yes.
Somehow I went to sea, stayed there for 25 years.
25 years?
Yes. But I always been a teacher inside, and 25 years after sailing, after sailing for 25 years, I stepped out of it and became what I am. So,
okay.
So it is not really quitting Merchant Navy, and it was always my dream to join LBS college because I used to look up to the 3 famous teachers of our times, Captain Joseph, Revari and Subramaniam. They used to be my role models in this field. And one day I wanted to take up teaching in LBS college. I was vying for it. And when I had amassed enough money for the family and experience and command, I stepped ashore with the intention of becoming a teacher. And before taking up teaching, I completed my extra masters because I wanted to be a good teacher. And I thought I should know a little more than the students that I am going to teach. That was the purpose. While completing my dissertation there, I started teaching in LBS college. And within 2 years, I joined Anglo-Eastern Ship Management as a trainer. That is how it began.
Okay, so sir, first of all, as far as I remember, you were at Anglo-Indian Maritime Training Center.
That's right.
And for how many years you were there, sir?
14 years.
14 years you were at Anglo-Indian Maritime Training Center.
Yeah.
For people who do not know, Anglo-Indian has two training centers. One is Anglo-Indian Maritime Academy, where you see these young boys being built up into gentlemen. Another is Anglo-Indian Maritime Training Center, where people like us, chief engineers, second officers, third officers, go and do a lot of courses out there so that they can perform really well on ship. So, sir, then how come this opportunity came and you became a part of this legacy out here at Anglo-Indian Maritime Academy?
Teaching was always my passion. There I was involved in teaching and training senior officers, masters, chief engineers, right down to third officers, fourth engineers, electrical officers. It was a very satisfying job. There I was program head for navigation, where as to my most favorite subject was ship handling. Okay. And also I was very much into human element, the maritime resource management kind of courses. And I was a tanker man, so I used to teach tanker related subjects, and I was very happy doing what I was doing. Then this opportunity arose, and when I was given the offer, I thought of it. I'll be dealing with even younger minds than what I was dealing there, and I took this opportunity, and I'm very happy about it.
Abhi sir, how many years has it been over here?
Just completed 2 years.
Great, sir, great. Sir, now, though the question was something else planned in the script,
Okay.
but the question comes like this. What was the difference? You were a trainer at Anglo-Indian Maritime Training Center, teaching those, the young brigade of officers out there.
Yeah.
And right now you are training these young minds who are going to become officers later. Where does the challenge lies?
There the connect was rather short. I used to interact with those officers for maybe 1 week at a time, maximum 2 weeks at a time. Although I definitely developed good relationships with the sailing officers, but here the interaction is much longer, 1 year, 8 months at least. So we get to know the students very well, and they get to know me, and I have ample opportunity to interact with them. I make sure that I teach at least one topic, one subject per batch, whether it is DNS or GME. I teach navigation for the DNS cadets and naval architecture for the GME cadets, so that I interact with every single cadet of the batch, one way or the other. And besides the professional subjects, I often talk to them what I call 5-minute commercial break.
Okay.
About ethics, about human element, although I teach that subject also. So the happy part about it is through classes as well as through extracurricular activities, I get to know the cadets not only as roll numbers, but as individuals. People come with such immense talents. I am in awe of them. And it is my job to give them the opportunity to grow and develop those talents.
Sir, what is the most fulfilling part of your job today?
Students come here with dreams, and I consider myself lucky that I am helpful in fulfilling their dreams and giving them the right guidance so that they follow the right goals rather than they are misled by some ideas put up in their heads. So here I get the time and opportunity to deal with these matters.
Sir, I'm going to put you in a fix right now because I'm going to you have to make a choice.
Okay.
Sir, you have taught 14 years at Anglo-Indian Maritime Training Center.
Right.
You have taught 2 years over here.
Yeah.
If you have to choose one, this was something I never thought, but this has turned out to be one of the best things, which would it be? This is difficult.
Now my answer is also going to be very, very tricky.
Okay.
Not today or yesterday, right from the beginning, 45 years ago, I have always loved what I was doing. That is the happiest part of being here in this career. That when I was a cadet, I was happy being a cadet. When I was a master, I used to love that job more than anything else. When I became a teacher for the professionals, I loved every day of it. And same is happening here. I consider myself very lucky or blessed that I found such occupations, such jobs which made me happy. And happy is the man who gets to do what he loves to do.
Great, great, great. That is very well said, sir. Sir, now comes the most important part, and that is why this interview is being conducted.
Yeah.
Had that day our conversation would not have gone for 2 hours, had you not recommended that book, had Pinky Roy ma'am not recommended talking to you and learning from you, sir, मुझे पता नहीं चलता कि what I was missing on. So, sir, the question is mental harassment. This is a very hot topic today in shipping industry. Now, first of all, sir, I'll put my views.
Yeah.
I'm an old school student and I don't mind saying that. I'm an orthodox thinker, being a young, but sir, I have always believed कि just giving an example कि my wife says कि I have a kid. So my wife says teacher कुछ ना कहे class में, he's UKG first class में, इसे कुछ ना कहे, he has to be protected and all those things. वो ऑटो में नहीं जाएगा, वो हम छोड़ने जाएंगे and all those things. मैंने बोला तो I told her कि if you do it today, you will do it for another 10 years, 12 years. But later on when the real world comes in, who is going to take care of him then? So कहीं ना कहीं एक साइमन सिनेक करके एक हैं बहुत बड़े, वो बात करते हैं कि today if it all these things are happening, it is because of bad parenting and that includes us as well. जो उन्होंने बोला है, I'm not quoting myself, I'm quoting Simon Sinek. He's talked this is bad parenting जो कि millennials को affect कर रही है, कि जहाँ पर parents उन्हें pampering shell में रखना चाहते हैं, मेरा बेटा
rewarding for anything good or bad,
anything and everything. कुछ नहीं कर रहा तब भी चॉकलेट ले, कुछ कर रहा है तो भी चॉकलेट.
I'm a fan of Simon Sinek.
Sir, thank you very much. So this is something that is common between us. तो उन्होंने बोला bad parenting. So वो मैं अपने घर में भी कोशिश करता हूँ कि मैं ना करूँ, और I still do not know whether I'll be a good parent or not. But sir, आज की डेट में I know, because I am dealing with a lot of kids these days, I know these young kids. इसमें से कुछ ऐसे कि अगर आप उनको डांट दो, because सर मैं जब डांटूंगा मेरी आवाज़ वैसे लौटे, how dare you do this, उन्हें सर वो भी mental harassment लगता है. They do not distinguish between what is scolding and what is mental harassment. They cannot distinguish between ये मेरी भलाई के लिए है या मेरे को प्रताड़ित करने के लिए. And then I also know few kids, those who are actually being mental harassed, जहाँ पर they are being abused, bad leaders के नीचे वो mentor हो रहे हैं, and this thing is existing. So अगर मैं बोलूँ कि mental harassment नहीं है तो गलत बात बोलूँगा, लेकिन अगर मैं बोलूँगा कि ये बहुत significantly exist करता है, so मैं ये गलत मानता हूँ. मैं बोलता हूँ कि we are not being able to identify, demarcate कि what is mental harassment and what is not. So now my first question comes in. Sir, what according to you is mental harassment?
It is all about intention. If the intention is good, it is not harassment. If the intention is bad, it is harassment. I have sailed with all kinds of, in the junior capacity, when I was a cadet or junior officer, I have sailed with good and bad chief officers and masters or engineers. At that age also, I could tell whose intention is good, he is making me work extra hard, but it is for my good. Whereas there were some people who used to take pleasure in harassing me or others purely out of the intention of something bad. So I think a wise person can clearly tell the difference, why it is being done. If somebody doesn't know, we do it here in the academy, make the cadets aware that somebody who is asking higher standards from you, making you do a work again to a better standard is not harassing you. But somebody is being very partial, or somebody is bent on seeing you unhappy or miserable, is harassing you. That is the distinction. Of course, we have a guideline about it. We discuss that in a class in a formal way through PowerPoints, etc. But these are the basics. Intention is the main thing.
तो मेन थिंग इज इंटेंशन, नियत, इंटेंशन कि किस तो अगर मैं इसे सर एक स्टोरी के फॉर्म में बोलूँ तो मैं ऐसा बोलना चाहूँगा. सपोज कीजिए मैं एक सेकंड इंजीनियर हूँ और मेरे से एक जूनियर इंजीनियर है. आप बताइएगा, मैं चाहता हूँ कि सीखे, तो मैं उसे पुश कर रहा हूँ, ये क्यों नहीं किया, इफ ही हैज मेड अ मिस्टेक आई एम स्कोल्डिंग हिम, हाउ डेयर यू डू दिस, कांट यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस, ओके कम आई विल शो यू, दिस इज डन लाइक दिस, नाउ यू डोंट मेक अ मिस्टेक, बट आई एम स्कोल्डिंग हिम. सो अगर नीयत मेरी साफ है, दिस इज नॉट हैरेसमेंट, और दिस कैन स्टिल बी कॉल्ड एन हैरेसमेंट.
It is not harassment, but the way you are getting it done needs some correction.
करेक्शन, हाँ
I'll
इस पे
put
भी
it
discussion
that
है.
way.
हाँ जी.
Now, here I'll tell you about my philosophy of discipline. People say that strict discipline is good, but we have to remember that any discipline which is brought about with strict punishment, etc., will remain only as long as the punishment remains, or if the watchful eye remains. The moment that eye turns away, that person will do something wrong. So discipline has to come from within, self-regulation. That will be lifelong. That is my experience, and I strongly recommend that.
But sir, that's a very slow process, I guess.
It is.
And efforts required are maybe 10 times more.
Yes.
Because over here you need to inspire that person.
Yes.
Not just motivate.
Yes.
And
It is
it's
a
not
slow
easy.
cooking dish, and that is why it is so tasty.
But it's very, very slow. So not even
I
slow.
know, but there are no quick fixes. I'll give an example.
Please.
Very simple. Why do you wear seat belts? Is it because of cops are watching, or is it because you love your life?
Sir, basically, to me, it is because the cops are watching.
Yes. So that is the
Challan cut
difference.
jayega.
Yes. So when people are wearing seat belts because cops are watching, they will take off the belt the moment they hit the highway and start driving at 120 because nobody is watching. If that is the value of discipline, then something is seriously going wrong.
क्योंकि वहीं पर एक्सीडेंट होना और सर वहीं पर जान जानी है.
Exactly. This applies everywhere in life. For example, pollution. Do you pollute the ocean? Not pollute the ocean because there are strict penalties. So you'll go to a place where the law is lax and nobody is watching, you'll pollute the ocean. If somebody is brought up in fear, if somebody is completely convinced that what you put into the sea will come on your dinner plate after a little while, all the toxic substances that you have thrown out will be part of your dinner very soon. If he is convinced that way, he will not pollute the ocean, whether it's in this country or that. So here we have this, we develop the attitude of gratitude towards nature. We do not fear the law before obeying it. We respect the law, but more than that, we respect the nature. That is the attitude.
Sir, now this is what you're talking about. Again, I believe this is a very ideal thing. Suppose example देता हूँ. A junior, say I am a deck cadet. My chief officer is his intention is to help me, train me. But okay, there are two ways. One is he's silent, okay with me. But there are different nature people out there. One is who is very calm. Okay, यार मैं तुझे सिखाता हूँ. Come, I'll teach you. You go work with Bosun today and spend 10-15 minutes every day with me. Another is he is not that calm. वो someone like me is hyper all the time. अरे यार तूने ये भी क्यों नहीं किया, कब मैं बताता हूँ, लेकिन अगर मैं गलती करी जय माता दी कर दूंगा. That is another. Third is गाली दे के बात करना, जो कि जिसको मैं बिल्कुल मेंटल हेरासमेंट मानता हूँ. बिकॉज आई हैव नोन फ्यू पीपल जो कि कहते हैं कि अरे हमारा काम इनको सिखाना नहीं है, दे आर नॉट ओवर हेयर टू गेट ट्रेन बाय अस, दे शुड हैव कम ट्रेन इनको. सो दैट आई ऑलरेडी बिलीव दैट इज मेंटल हेल्थ. बट सर इसमें डोमेन के अंदर अगर मैं आगे बढ़ूँ, सो व्हाट इज द मैसेज दैट यू वुड लाइक टू गिव टू पीपल लाइक मी
Okay.
हु आर इन दिस ब्रिगेड, जिनकी इंटेंशन सही है.
Okay. ठीक है. I'll tell you what I think about it. Here I am completely convinced by the thoughts of Sir Ken Robinson.
Okay.
He was a great educationist who passed away just a couple of years back. So I am his fan, follower. His idea was a little different from our Indian model of teaching and mentoring. Here we say student is a lump of clay and the teacher will mold him, shape him in a particular way, and that's it. Sir Ken Robinson used to say that student is a seed with all the potential within. It is the job of the teacher to just help him grow by nurturing. So you cannot decide what he will grow into. That is already within him. You can only provide all the possible opportunities, correct ambience, and whatever resources are required, but you cannot change his destiny. You can make him the best of him for what he has the potential. You cannot change the potential.
So, what is your message to those leaders out there, those chief officers, those captains who are dealing with cadets, those for whom they feel कि यार they are not up to the mark? Because even you might be, मतलब कभी ना कभी आपने भी अपने जीवन में ऐसे आपको cadets मिले होंगे, those who you must have felt कि यार not up to the potential that I wanted them, not up to my expectations. How did you deal with those kids?
Everybody cannot be perfect.
Agreed.
The bell curve of statistics applies everywhere.
Yes.
Even
Agreed.
among the elite, there will be some who will go to unprecedented heights, some will be at a very respectable average, and some will be below par. So you can't push a person far enough. You can make him maybe 10 or 15% better than what he has. If he doesn't have it in him, let us not waste our time on him or harass him for that, for becoming like somebody else. That is how much he is going to achieve, that is his capability, and leave him at that.
And let him go with the destiny that he has got.
Yeah, now suppose a student is in 12th standard, everybody wants him to join IIT or best medical school, etc. Every student doesn't have it in him.
Agreed.
Why make his life miserable by pushing him in that direction and making him feel like a failure at the beginning of his career? So same will apply to a cadet or a junior officer who's under, you know what is he capable of. Expect only that much or maybe a little more than that, but not expect wonders out of him and make him feel miserable and you get disappointed about it. Your expectations have to be realistic.
So, if it is me, if it is so again, I want point. What is your message to these seniors out there, people like me? I would say simple, who are on ship, dealing with juniors out there. These are young minds. These are millennials. What should be expected from us when we are dealing with these kids?
Motivate them, appeal to their self-respect rather than pushing them and threatening them with punishments for inefficiency, etc. That doesn't work very well, whereas a motivated person will do things on his or her own.
Okay. And what is the message for those kids, sir? जो कि अभी young हैं, they are joining ship and just newly joined, and suddenly when they go, they have been pampered, they have been nurtured, and suddenly they go on ship and they find the world which is very different.
Set and follow the right goals. If they are here to make some quick money, perhaps they are chasing the wrong goal. They will be disappointed very soon. So they have to, that is the philosophical and ethical talk that we give them here, that you have to look at it as a whole life, not the next 3 months or 4 years. And how you want to connect with your working life. For example, what I said earlier, that for a man who loves his job, work is not work. It is just a way of life. So if they develop that kind of love for their profession, they will be successful. But if they are here just as this career gives some good money and some opportunity for shopping, etc., they will be disappointed very soon.
And what is the message for young parents like us, जिनके अभी छोटे छोटे बच्चे हैं 5 साल 8 साल के? We have time to work.
Yes.
So what is the message for parents like us?
Parenting does not come naturally.
Oh God, Jai Mata Di. Yes. Okay.
It requires a lot of effort, and my suggestion will be to read and educate yourselves, get your philosophy right about in what direction you are going. For example, don't take the onus responsibility on yourself that I am going to shape my child's life. That is too much of responsibility. Somebody else has already decided that. Nature has put the correct potential in the child. Your job is to stand aside and give the possible opportunities, nurturing. That's all you can do. Think of yourself as a gardener rather than a potter.
Okay. Point very well taken, sir, and I really appreciate your views. In the last, any 2 books or 1 book that you would recommend these young minds to take with them when they go on ship so that they can read them and they can, 1 book or 2
Okay,
books?
since you mentioned harassment and bullying, there is one threat to everyone, everywhere in life, whether on board ship or anywhere, is being manipulated by a con man. It could be just a total stranger, or it could be your friend, your relative, your family member. By smooth talking, people are made to do things which they really don't want to do. I had this experience. I was rather soft in nature, but when I realized that people are talking smooth and getting things out of me or making me do things which I don't want to do, I became alert and started looking for strategies. And that is the time I stumbled upon the book which I mentioned to you. That was almost 40 years back. When I Say No, I Feel Guilty by Manuel Smith. I still have a copy of it, and I recommend it to my cadets that those who are humble and meek by nature can be bullied and made to do things which they don't want to. How to put up with this kind of people assertively, without being rude, without being meek. Stand up for what you believe in and don't give in easily. That is the message.
Okay.
And this book puts it very well without any jargon in a layman's language. So I'll recommend that one book to be taken along.
And any one book for self-help, for self-motivation or something like that?
There are lots of books which I could recommend, but readily what comes to my mind is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Everybody,
Stephen
even
Covey.
even CEO Bjorn Haggard sir mentioned about that book. Martin Kraft sir mentioned about. Everybody is recommended in that book, sir.
Yes. So, based on that, the life should not be driven either by money or by religion or by something else. It should be principle-based living. And I have lived that way. I am an atheist. I follow no particular religion, but I have very firm principles and I follow them. Life has been very, very satisfying.
With this, all I can say is I hope you must have understood in your own way, opinion. And to all those maritime leaders out there, to those chief officers, to those captains, chief engineers like me, my time has come. Even we need to start reading books. Jai Mata Di. Take
Thank
care.
you, Pranit.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.